Hello and welcome back to this Chocolatey for Business feature series. In this video, we're going to take a look at the self-service feature, also known as background mode, as well as a Chocolatey GUI. These features combine to enable your non-admin users to install and upgrade software without needing any administrative rights. Now we find that this feature is particularly useful for our users that are managing desktop endpoints. But some of our server users find it handy as well. For example, when they're attempting to allow developers to install certain pre-approved software packages without necessarily giving them admin rights to that server. Now, a couple of important points to note here. Self-service mode can be run from the Chocolatey GUI or command line, and Chocolatey will check if commands and sources are valid before running anything. As well, if someone tries to abuse this feature as a non-admin, it will be captured in the Chocolatey agent log. Okay, now let's take a look at setting up self-service background mode in Chocolatey GUI. So first things first, I'm going to check and see what source repositories I have set up on this workstation by running the choco source command. And I can see that I have the Chocolatey community repository here. It's simply named Chocolatey, and I have my internal repository named Choco hosted. Now, I'm going to want to disable the community repository because I don't want my organizational users to going out to the web to install those applications. I want them coming to my internal repo. And the second piece I'm going to do is I'm going to take my internal repository Choco hosted here, and I'm going to turn on the self-service feature. So I'm going to just run those two commands here. And fair warning, I'm using my command history to avoid some typos on this recording. But the commands I'm going to run here are choco source disable with the name of the Chocolatey community repository, which is Chocolatey. And that's going to disable the community repository for me. And then the other command I'm running is a choco source add. Now this is the same as adding a new repository from scratch, but what we're specifically doing here is we're adding that same repository of our choco hosted internal repo, but we're adding the additional parameter of allow self-service. So this is going to be the same as updating that existing record for us, which it's done. And now if I run a choco source command, we can see here that we have the Chocolatey community repository set to disabled, which is great, which is what we want. And the internal repository that we have Choco hosted now has self-service set to true, which is excellent. So now we're ready to install the Chocolatey agent. So I'm first going ahead here and installing the Chocolatey agent from my internal repository. And once that gets completed, I'm going to have to enable some features as well for self-service mode to fully kick in. And we'll run through that once this installer completes. So the Chocolatey agent package has been fully installed, and now let's run through a couple of these features, and I'll walk you through what they do. So specifically, Choco feature enable use background service is going to actually turn self-service mode on in the background there. The second feature we're going to enable is use background service with non-administrators only. So this is going to leave admin users alone and let them behave as normal when they install Chocolatey packages. And it's only going to affect the background service and self-service mode kicking in for non-admins only. I'm going to enable that feature. And the one feature I'm going to disable is show non-elevated warnings. And this is specifically saying that when a standard user opens a PowerShell prompt, it's going to not be an administrative PowerShell window. It's going to be a regular PowerShell window. So we don't want it to warn every time a standard user does so that they can go ahead and do regular installs of Chocolatey packages without getting that warning every time. Okay, and that should be it for my feature configuration and my Chocolatey agent package install. One more step here, I'm going to go ahead and install Chocolatey GUI as well, because we want to show both ways that you can install packages from the GUI and from the command line. So I'm just going to do that from my local source because I have it in that folder there. And now that that's done, we can actually begin trying out the self-service feature.